Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight we have John 5, and we're going to be looking at John shredding for playthisriff.com. So it's just a little bit of him just with his guitar, and what I like about this video is the fact that he goes through so many techniques. But let's get John up on screen and see how he gets on. I'm just going to jump in here because John 5 is absolutely getting through so much in such a short space of time here. And I know it's a classic case, one of those players that divides opinion. But what I love about this video is the fact that we get to see so many of his techniques that are outside of the constraints of a normal composition or a solo. So he can really show us all these different techniques, and he makes this so interesting all the way along. With other players, you might actually find that they anchor on the guitar as well, which is just when you have any part of your hand stuck to the guitar or resting on the guitar, which can make the picking a little bit more accurate. Some players find that that's a slightly better way, or it works better for them, and other players literally just float in mid-air whilst they're doing alternate picking. The other thing John's throwing in there is those sweeps across the strings, and if you don't know what a sweep is, it's when you play the notes of a chord, typically called an arpeggio, but you strike or you rake across strings. So it means you just literally do a downstroke, but you're picking out individual notes on the way down. So it's a really technical technique to actually get down, a technical style to play. It takes a hell of a lot of practice to get that synchronization right. Another thing is look out for the slides. He's so accurate up and down that guitar, especially within the context of these really fast passages that he's thrown together. Another thing he did was push on the string behind the nut on the head of the guitar. So the nut is, if you're looking at the picture now, you can see the headstock of the guitar, which is where you tune it with the machine heads, and the white line is the nut. And he actually goes to that point and pushes down on those strings, therefore increasing the tension and being able to either add a vibrato sound, which he does sometimes, or push that string all the way down so that it will increase the tension of the string, and therefore it will give him a higher pitch. One thing I do want to mention is the fact that John actually cites Roy Clark as one of his influences when Roy did his show called Hee Haw in the USA. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly or not with my accent, but it just goes to show, I always say this, that country playing has some of the most technical playing in it, and John, being influenced at a young age, took on those techniques and worked at them, and it all comes from that style of music. I know that John has got flamenco techniques in there as well as country techniques. We can see here there's loads of rock and metal techniques as well, but they're all so similar that they can all cross over. People that play this kind of music, he's in Marilyn Manson, you know, really heavy stuff, but they get their techniques from all over the place. But let's watch a little bit more of this video. I'm just going to quickly jump in here because there is so much going on. We saw in there the accuracy of his slides that I mentioned earlier. Also using the side of the pick to do the tapping. Interestingly, I had that last night with George Lynch, who was also doing that technique. But he's doing so much here that just keeping track of it, the fact that when he actually did away with the pick altogether and started playing with fingerstyle effectively with that thumb and first finger, second finger as well. He stomps on his effects every now and again and he gets a really interesting sound, uses it really well. We had some Crybaby Wah Wah earlier on in the performance as well. There's so much that he's putting into this little show-off piece. Ultimately, limitless avenues that John could go down, but he's just piecing this together as he goes. But let's just watch it till the end of the video now. And there we go. That is then the end of the performance. I love the way that at the end he says, oh, that's cool. You know, just as if somebody's going to attempt to play this. You know, this is for playthisriff.com. So as if that was just a riff that you're going to play. I mean, there's so much technique in there. He had on that open string, he was actually doing a pinched harmonic and then used those strings down at the bottom of the guitar, like I said, where the head is, in order to get a little bit of vibrato, change that pitch as well. So really cool effect there. So many things here that you can actually try at home. The fact that then he swapped over for that metallic pick and was effectively playing slide guitar really high up on the guitar. So if you are listening to this in headphones, it probably did your ears in. But again, really cool sound, something totally different. And this is 3 minutes 38 of just so many techniques back to back to back to back so that you can't even catch your breath. Great sweeping technique, that alternate picking technique, the bending the strings at the headstock of the guitar, that little slide bit at the end. As I said, you know, I can keep on just labeling, naming all these different techniques, and you know, I'll be here all year trying to explain exactly what John did just in that 3 minutes 38. Also the fact that as a musician, as a player, as a writer, that he's worked with so many people. Just go onto Wikipedia and have a little look. Surprisingly, people that you might not even think he would have worked with. I think Rod Stewart was in there. He wrote a song with him on one of his albums. But he's certainly an all-round musician, and the fact that he writes and works with so many people as well. I know that when David Lee Roth left Van Halen, John actually sent him some of his tracks, and David Lee Roth really liked it, so he said, well, I'll have a few more of these tracks. And eventually he ended up playing for David Lee Roth, which I think for John was great because John was a massive fan when he was growing up. So John 5, what a player. He's got so many techniques at his disposal as well. He's really worked on all of those, got them really to a top level. It's interesting to know his influences as well, even if you're not into heavier music or rock or metal. It's just good to know that these techniques come from that different place, different genres, and then players then find their own route and go down the genre that they actually like to play in. And John's certainly one of those. You can see so many techniques in there. But thank you so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at in the first place. Keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you guys at the next one.